About language proficiency, what can we
Yeah.
say about that?
That's when you came in. You have to tell us your experience with your students, and also you teach on companies. You touch the professional side as well of teaching. So, what you can tell us about it?
Well, the first thing I would say is that if you say that you are fluent in English, you'd
Hmm.
better be fluent in English.
Okay.
I don't recommend lying.
Yeah.
This is changing, and I tell you what was happening in the past. In the past, and I remember when I was doing my job interview, I was saying I'm bilingual, or I have C1 or whatever. And then when they were saying that your English level was high, let's say that even the interviewers were scared, and I remember like looking forward to speaking English so I could show my English level, and they were never asking anything. That's changing. Even what I'm doing right now for some companies is checking the English level of the possible new candidates. So they interview the candidates in terms of, as you say, technical skills,
Yeah.
etc. And then I have 10 minutes with them about their English level.
Yeah.
Um, that's it. It's not so important the title, but because I know that in Spain we love titles, but as you say, no one has asked me about my marks at the degree.
Yeah.
Not many companies are going to ask you if you have the first certificate or not. They are going to say, okay, are you able to are you able to have a telephone call? Are you able to make a video conference? And especially since the pandemic came, that everything is online.
Yeah.
So from my experience, and this is especially what I'm working with companies, please, and then not just because it's my job, but please get training in English. You don't need to have, you don't need to know everything. I mean, I don't know. I think we don't know all the Spanish of the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, of course, if you are having a job interview, be ready to speak English. And this is something we can work a lot on that, on it. There are some questions, of course, you can get, even with the help of the artificial intelligence, you can get some questions. You can even speak with the artificial intelligence practicing. So I would say, please train before the
Yeah.
competition. Please train, because now things have changed. And now English, as we say, even if you are working in a supermarket and maybe you are never going to speak English, they are asking for it, because there are so many candidates for so many things,
Yeah.
that one of the filters is language. And I would say that in your field, it's also something essential. Well, first, because all the technical terms are in English, and also because not only technical terms, and this is what I have seen, I will give you the example of marketing. I work with many people from marketing. I understand marketing, so they can talk to me with all the acronyms and whatever.
Hmm.
But if they are having a client, many times I'm impersonating this client, and they start talking to me as if I knew about that. I say, no, I don't know about that. You need to be able to explain those technical terms. And I know this is difficult. That's what I say. You need to be training and training. Maybe a person don't know about something very technical you are talking about. So you have to be able to ground that term and
Hmm.
to clarify it. In fact, that person probably, if we are talking about architect, about my home, I don't really mind or even I don't care the way you are going to do it, but I just need some explanation that I understand. And I know that we feel very proud about saying technical things and using this method or this approach or whatever. Look, we are paying, you are going to do your job, give them the explanations in a way they can understand it, and I think that that's much better.
Yeah.
And that's a skill that we need to develop. As I said, and we will talk also about that, the experience is something that you get with the time. You cannot say I have 10 years experience if you have not 10 years
Yeah.
experience. Please don't lie in your CV, please. But and there are many qualities that maybe you are not charismatic, maybe you are not a leader. And that's difficult. If your personality is not going that way, it's difficult. But English is a skill that you learn. So I always say, don't be scared about that. Look for the right person for you, or the right way for you to learn, but never be scared about English, because it is something that you can learn. And if you can learn it, it's something you can do, and it's something that you can start from the very first time. So I encourage, I encourage everyone to do it,
Yeah.
because right now, it's making a difference.
It's pretty much mandatory, and in architecture, if in Spain in particular, if you don't need it for your day to day unless you have clients from outside Spain. And in that case, most of the case, the language they're going to talk with any client outside Spain is going to be in English. You never know when your company is going to take a project outside Spain, or they have to collaborate, or a company from outside Spain needs to do a project in Spain, and they engage your company or yourself to do that
Well,
project.
I'm saying not just about internationalization, that I help companies to go international, and but think about all the retired people from Germany, UK, and other parts of Europe coming to Spain,
And they want to build a
and
house.
they want a house. So it's not that you are working with international clients; it's that the international clients are coming to your company. And of course, we need to get to some kind of common ground. And in terms of language, of course, is English. As I say, English, of course, is a language, as Spanish is a language, German is a language, but it's also a way of communication. So it doesn't have, there is no a perfect English or anything like that. It's a way of communicating. Email is a way of communicating. English is a way of communicating. So at least we need to speak the same language as our clients. And when I speak the same language, it is obviously language in terms of English, Spanish, whatever. And also, well, to have these good feelings, because I think that if I want someone to build or to design my home, I should have, good vibes about
Yeah.
that person, at least. At
and
least.
and also you never know how life is going to change. If
Oh, yeah,
you are
absolutely.
right now, you are applying for a office, for example, we are in Zaragoza, but you are applying for a architectural firm in Zaragoza, but maybe it's an economic crash in Spain for the foreseeable future you cannot work anymore, which was my case. I finished school and there was absolutely no work for architects. There was a specific crisis for the worst industry to work on was architecture.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like the foreseeable future doesn't look right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move to another country, and you can, if you already have the head start with English and your technical skills, you is incredibly more
It's
easy
much easier. Yeah.
to adapt if you're going to go to UK, to Canada, to anywhere, to Finland, like any country you're going to move in, you are going to need minimum English, and then later they will expect you to learn their local language, but it's at least that. Or imagine that you are working for a big company, a big corporation that they have offices in other parts of the globe. You will need to sometimes collaborate with them, or they will send you, maybe they are doing a project in Saudi Arabia.
Having meetings, video conferences,
They are
etc.
they are doing a project in Panama. They are doing a project in anywhere. Like they will maybe ask you to relocate or do meetings or just move there or anything. So
Well, I have
obviously, as many languages as possible is better, but English is the first one.
English is the best one, absolutely. I work with a lot of people from LATAM, because I mean they are very close to North America, and that's one of the biggest problems. And for them, let's say that the ticket to get to North America is English.
Yep.
If not, unless you go to Miami, because in Miami you can speak Spanish
Or
and no
California.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say that what is going to give you the okay is English. Is English.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.